Okay, episode 425 here with Kate and myself is going to be brought to you by Thrive Market. If you guys are unfamiliar with Thrive Market, they kind of use the Costco approach where you pay a yearly fee, but their prices are so cheap. Oh my goodness. They're just so much cheaper than your local health food store, and you get free shipping on $49 or over, and you get an extra 15% off if you go through our link. They have every kind of food and superfood and supplement. You can shop by your allergies. You can shop by gluten-free. You can shop by different dietary guidelines you have to follow. You can shop by raw food, paleo, organic. Everything in their store is organic, and they have bath and beauty products. You can shop for your home with soaps and kids and pets and all kinds of stuff. Thrive's the best. So go over there. Actually, you can just click on the link that's on this webpage. And we're also brought to you by Mountain Rose Herbs. This is where Kate and I get all of our bulk organic herbs and spices. We constantly buy. I love buying my reishi and chaga there and making teas, and then using that tea as a base for nut milks, or using that tea as a base for superfood smoothies, the king and queen of mushrooms. And Mountain Rose Herbs has the best stuff on the planet. I mean, their prices are incredibly low, and they have everything is organic. They have got teas, herbs and spices, aromatherapy, essential oils, bath and body stuff, containers for all your essential oils and teas and things. It's just awesome stuff. So if you want either of those two things, Thrive Market or Mountain Rose Herbs, all you got to do is go to extremehealthradio.com/425.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
Are we on?
We're on.
I don't hear myself.
You don't hear yourself?
Maybe I'm blocking myself out.
You're blocking yourself out.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's going really, really good. We had some issues with the audio software today for the live show, so we're doing this pre-recorded, but we're doing pretty good.
We showed up.
That's
what it's all about in life.
You know, I've never really been a big fan. Have you been a big fan of April Fools? Has that been something that's been... You know, I just realized something today with our newsletter. People may have thought that was like an April Fool's joke. Oh. I didn't even realize that. I'm so out of the nature of April Fools that...
Oh my gosh. You're right, because what was the title of the newsletter?
Because the title of it was Shutting Down, because people have been emailing in asking if we're like going to stop doing the show, or, you know, stop...
Oh, they probably totally thought it was... Either they panicked or they thought it was April Fool's, but that wasn't the case at all.
I didn't even realize that. It just occurred to me right now.
I've never played an April Fool's joke on anyone in my life.
I know.
Some people get people really bad.
Isn't it just hilarious? You see the videos. I tell you, I love watching the videos on Facebook, though.
Yeah, they're pretty mean.
I love them. They're so fun. They're so mean.
I'm glad you take pleasure in other people's pain. Look who I'm married to.
Oh, man.
Heart of gold.
Heart of gold right there.
Well, we're not shutting down. We're very much alive in here.
Yes, very much.
And more than ticking. I was going to say we're ticking, but we are continuing to go forward in really exciting ways.
It's cool. I'm excited.
I am too.
I'm very excited.
Well, happy April Fools.
Yeah, you know, because the email was shutting down and people were asking if we were going to stop doing the show or whatever. And so I explained in the email. I actually did a video about it. That we're going to be expanding the show and doing a lot more stuff.
You're tricky.
But yeah, so it's going to be fun. For those that don't know, we got a brand new studio. What? And finally, we got that going, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And we have a brand new studio, so we paid the
deposit and the lease.
But
the mortgage, basically the same thing.
Yeah,
just kidding. No, we didn't buy it, but we rented it.
We're renting a studio, and so we got the insurance on it. In fact, we need to make sure we'll put that on the to-do list. We need to call them and find out what's going on.
And we have yet to work there because we're still it's been sitting there for a month.
A month, right?
But we're waiting on your new computer.
Right.
To show up so we're able to do shows over there, but
yeah.
It's exciting.
Super cool. Are you excited? Are you excited about decorating it?
I am.
Yeah?
Right when I was talking about it, I got this girly flip of excitement in my stomach about going to get the chairs and the rugs and the stuff that's going to make it all pretty and
that'd be cool.
Nice for our videos. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
For my podcast, got to have a little corner of the office where my guests can come in and feel comfy. And
that's going to be cool.
I got a really cool email here from Brenda.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we need to thank our latest 2 patrons,
Oh, my gosh.
But let's do this email from Brenda.
Okay. Brenda's awesome throughout the years. Brenda's written me some emails, but she says, "Hi, Kate. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to hear about your experience with the Cutler Protocol one of these days on Free For All Friday. I think I remember you saying earlier that you were going to do this along with a low sulfur diet. I've done so many detox protocols over the years, including coffee enemas, liver flushes, parasite cleansing, IV ozone, juicing, raw foods, etc. But I have a feeling the low sulfur thing is one nut I haven't yet cracked. I also want to do turpentine. This lady's awesome."
Wow, she is just full on.
Yeah, we're still recovering from mold exposure, toxic mold exposure, but I'm doing way better now thanks to people like Dr. Klinghardt. Looking forward to your new podcast, and I'll always remain an EHR listener as well. Smiley face, Brenda.
Nice. I don't think you've ever told me about her.
Yeah, I've received some emails from Brenda over the year, or maybe at least a year. I'm thinking a couple, but
that's cool.
I know. Thank you, Brenda. That just made me really, really happy because you're the first person who's written in and said you look forward to my new podcast. So
I know that's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of good people on and good conversations, but obviously I'm very happy you're going to continue to remain a listener of EHR because it sounds like you're really into health as well, like we are. But
so are you going to do, real quick, are you going to do video podcasts or you're going to do video, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
How fun.
Not all, but yeah, a lot of video.
Going Oprah style.
Going Oprah style.
I like it.
Oprah's style of Super Soul Sunday is my
like
I-Ching.
Model. Your I-Ching.
My I-Ching. What does that mean? My I-Ching. I just felt like I had to say that. Does that mean anything?
You don't. I love you.
I don't even know what that means.
I love that you reference something, but you don't know what it means.
Let me look that up.
The I-Ching. It's the.
What does that mean?
It's the book. I read that years ago.
Is that like your compass? Like, why did I say that?
I-Ching. I read that book.
I-Ching.
Gosh, I read that years ago. It's also known as a classic book of changes in English. I-Ching online. So what is this? Is it the book of changes? It's the book of changes. Look at your subconscious mind.
It is the book of changes?
Yeah.
So maybe I did use that in the right way without even knowing it.
Classic of changes. That's your little subconscious mind.
Because I was speaking about Oprah and how that style is my I-Ching. Yeah. Look at me. I don't know where that came from.
It's an ancient divination text and the oldest of the Chinese classics.
I feel like I've heard that on a movie. I feel like that's from some movie like in my past a long time ago, like 15 years ago, and I have not once thought to say something about that. But.
It's an influential text read throughout the world, providing inspiration to the worlds of religion, psychoanalysis, business, literature, and art. Gosh, yeah, I read it. You can get it at the library. I read it, but see, I don't remember. See, I mean, I must have read it in 2000 or something, so I don't remember it.
Well, what's even weirder is I just pulled up Brenda's email, and on the side there's an ad you get there. It's for the Oprah magazine collection. From Talbot's, and I was just talking about Oprah. How weird is that? Do.
Maybe it's like that cell phone podcast. Did I tell you about that?
Tell me. No, and then I want to talk to you about color. No.
I sent you that podcast to listen to about the dangers of cell phones. And,
right.
Did I tell you about what the deal was with it?
No.
Like how they track.
I know. I'm sorry, I haven't watched it yet.
No, it's a listening one. But if someone's sitting next to their cell phone on the couch watching TV and an ad comes up for like Macy's or something or some department store or whatever, there's an app on your cell phone that I think it's like a secret app that's part of the operating system or something, and it'll send a sound wave message to the app through either the TV or the computer or something, but it basically lets the advertiser know that you indeed watched that commercial on TV. So it's counted as a view, and then it can track your profile. I thought I told you
now
about
that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Well, no, you told me to listen to it, and it would make me want to throw mine out the window.
Yeah.
Which I'm still struggling with.
Oh no.
Don't worry. I'm just a slow mover, but
I'm not worried.
I will listen to that, and I'll want to immediately go ditch it. But
okay, so back to Brenda's email.
Yeah. Wow. But I will check that out. I don't like them knowing.
Did you put a link to that? I'll put a link to that interview or that.
So now it's listening to me talk about Oprah and it pops up an Oprah ad.
No way.
No. I'm just saying, wouldn't that be weird if that's what happened? Which it didn't, but you're going to put a link to the...
Did you write that down in the show notes? Okay, I'll put...
Thank you. The Cutler protocol, it stinks. I have to admit, I never went through with it because I found out a few things along the way that didn't seem like a good fit for where my body was at. Mm-hmm. And I had pretty much, I had the manual Cutler's work before me. I read a ton of it. I got a bit overwhelmed, but then was going to commit to do it. And along with like a phosphatidylcholine chelation type thing.
And speaking of before all this, we're going to read your recent blood test with, or hair mineral analysis in a little while with Nikki Moses.
We'll get into that. But working with the people I worked into, or I've been working with lately, all agree that it probably wasn't as high of a problem as I thought the metals were, but not mercury in particular, because I had done so many tests on mercury and it kept showing up either insignificant or so small or not even at all. So we decided we were going to go more the nutritional balancing route and see what's happening and going on there first. Because I'd done like 6 or 5 different mercury tests. One being the, what was the major one that we did with,
Quicksilver Scientific.
Quicksilver Scientific.
Yes.
Oh gosh. And that didn't show anything. So
Dr. What was his name? He was on our show. Dr.
Why am I blanking?
I need some ginkgo biloba.
You do need ginkgo biloba.
What is that name? Dr. Not Klinghardt.
Doctor, I know. Hold
Shade.
on.
Christopher
Dr.
Shade.
Shade. Good one.
Yeah, Christopher Shade.
Shade.
The ginkgo I took earlier just popped. I took some coconut oil.
Your shot of ginkgo didn't hit your blood-brain barrier. So to answer the question, Brenda, I did not go through with the Cutler protocol. Feeling like I'm getting a little bit more on the right track with having had not done it, but I did show high in aluminum and other metals, which I'll talk about when we go into my recent hair mineral analysis.
So we didn't follow through with the mercury poisoning because why? I forget, because it was so long ago. It was like maybe a year ago, wasn't it?
I didn't follow through with the protocol, you mean?
Yeah, continuing with the Dr. What is his name?
Dr. Cutler.
Dr. Cutler. He's kind of the main guy for this type of work. Why didn't we follow go through with his program?
Because I was feeling like it was too much. It was too much for my system. There wasn't like, it's really hard with the Cutler protocols. Thousands of people have taken it, and probably hundreds of thousands of people have done it, I'm sure. But people who even wrote into me said it is quite an experiment. Like it's not a one size fits all program. There's things within his program that you should do or not do, or could do or not do, but there's all different kinds of way to chelate, and I don't know. It didn't resonate. It seemed a little harsh for me.
Was that the chelation challenge that involved that, or I don't think he was more along his protocol is more along the lines of being very slow and methodical, right? And some people do like a chelation challenge where they'll take some substance to cause the mercury to be instantly in the bloodstream, and then
what you're dealing with, and that can cause sometimes if you really are overwhelmed and it's causing pain in your organs and stuff, it's not going to do you. It's going to send you into a tailspin even more.
You know what's so bizarre about this is like something's not adding up because people say, okay, if you've had your amalgam fillings removed by a non-holistic dentist who doesn't understand all the protocols for protecting someone from that, if you've ever had your mercury fillings removed by someone like that, then it's a guarantee, it's a lock that you have mercury poisoning because the mercury just outgasses into your mouth and your tissues.
Free floating in your body.
Right. So, which is what you had done before we knew better.
Right.
Is we went to Mexico and just because it was cheap and decided to, you got yours out, I got a root canal. And so that happened. And then you started feeling the effects, your health started going downhill.
After that.
Slowly, over the course of a year and a half, just kind of slowly not being able to eat certain foods. And so we kind of tracked it back to that, and that made sense. But then you got a hair test, right? You had a blood test, didn't you?
Let's see. I've done hair, saliva, blood. Yeah, I mean, every which way you can.
And urine? Did you do urine tests? I think you did.
I don't remember if urine is part. Whatever it was, I did multiple tests of different sorts. I mean, I've done more than just 3 tests. I've done 5 or 6.
High mercury.
No, it was either really trace amounts or nothing. It wasn't even registering. So
that's so weird.
to me, I mean, I'm sure I have it, but when I did the Quicksilver scientific test, I thought for sure.
And that's supposed to be the end all be all, right? Because they test for two types of mercury.
Right. I wasn't showing anything. And, I'm spending all this money, all this time, and then to follow the Cutler protocol, I mean, it's not, there are more expensive things people could be doing, but still, it was an investment. And I thought, gosh, I just don't feel good about this. And every single practitioner I called within driving distance of our area who offered help with the chelation type stuff, they were either rude or they didn't have the time to work with me, or they thought told me you have to come in and see me before you can decide if you want to do this, and we have to talk about what your options are. And it was hard to get someone to be on board with what I wanted to do without having to go through them, and it's like, I don't know if there's many people that knowledgeable in the Cutler program, except for some woman in Washington that one of our listeners had referred me to. And I don't remember her name. But some practitioner in Washington who works with the Cutler protocol. And I don't know. I don't regret the route I did, because I don't think I'm as mercury toxic as I am aluminum and other things like that.
It's weird because either the tests aren't showing, aren't conclusive, or
right.
There wasn't mercury. It's not always true that someone gets mercury poisoning if they don't get their teeth done correctly, the mercury fillings removed correctly. So,
which blows my mind, but I guess that's possible.
I guess there's a third option, is that both of those could be true. So it's possible that the standard rule is that people who do get their teeth done with a non-holistic dentist all get mercury poisoning. That could be true. And it also could be true that those tests are really conclusive. Mm-hmm. The third option is that God just spared you. Something supernatural happened where, you got your teeth done incorrectly, but somehow you didn't get mercury poison. Yeah,
I mean, it seems rare and not possible, but you think if you're a person standing right at a disaster, what do you call that? Like in ground zero. And Fukushima happens and you're right there. It just seems impossible that you'd come out unscathed when everyone else around you is dying of these horrible things. But sure, I mean, at this point, I'm like, anything's possible, because what more can I do to go forward and do the Cutler protocol without having really strong evidence? I have a lot of the checklist things from books I'd read, and the book by Dr. Allison Adams, which I love. I've had a lot of aha moments reading those, tests and doing my own self-testing. And I had a lot of those symptoms, but it's really hard because a lot of those symptoms are also symptoms of a lot of other things and a lot of other metals. And for me, I'm so sensitive, and my body, I have to take very small little baby steps. It just seemed like a little bit too much for me at the time.
Yeah, it's funny that I wonder if when you are married in the way that we are, you take on each other's, because I've become way more sensitive to food since, and I don't know if it's as a result of being around you.
I know.
Or if it's a result of just getting cleaner and my diet changing, 12 years ago, whenever I was 27. I wonder what that is.
I don't know, but you and I have been through weird cycles together. Because remember when we were dating, we'd both get this thing called salad stomach, we called it. Every time we'd eat salads or something really raw, after that we'd have to lay down. We'd go out to dinner, come home, we'd both be like, oh, we don't feel good, whoever's house we were at, and we'd have to lay flat on the ground.
We both just lay flat for an hour.
Yeah, here we are dating, laying flat, going, what's up with our stomachs?
Why do our stomachs hurt?
And it was really a unique thing that I haven't really had that since, and it's morphed into other problems. But I thought, why did we both have that specific thing then? It's like, were our bodies communicating? Did we have the same virus, the same parasite? What were we sharing that we had the same reactions to things?
Isn't that weird?
And now it's becoming the same thing too, where we're both highly sensitive to a lot of the same foods. I have no idea what's going on.
I think you probably do take on a subconscious level some of the health issues that your partner has, or people that you love. I'm sure it happens.
You think it's all mental, emotional though, or do you think it's actually because you're sharing space, where you're sharing
organisms,
right?
The same kind of bugs are in their house and all that. I don't know. Gosh, I mean, that's one of the mysteries of life. I mean, there's so many questions. Who knows? I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, that you would be exposed to the same stuff, because if you're living under the same roof, you're going to be exposed to the same mold, the same, toxicities that are in the carpets and things. But I suspect there's something more because, roommates live together and sometimes, but then again, women will have their menstrual cycles happen at the same time.
It's true. You do pick up. Yeah.
It's like that. Do you know that guy? What is his name? Rupert Sheldrake. He talks about the morphogenic field.
Tell me about that. Do I remember him? Sheldrake?
Yeah, Rupert Sheldrake. He talks. It's kind of like how what happens on the inside of your body happens on the outside. So in the same way that cells have a field of information and how they relate to each other magnetically and electrically, the same thing happens as like if we're a single cell. And so there's a morphogenic field. That's just the field that's around us, like where we hear, if you have the antennas, you can hear radio waves and stuff. And so there's the same way. There's a field around us where we all share energy, and pretty fascinating guy.
Interesting.
But it would make sense. Maybe something like that would happen with women who you got 4 girls who are roommates and they all have a menstrual cycle. This kind of thing.
That's interesting. It does seem to be. I mean, I'm working part-time at a speech therapy office for children, and it's all women therapists. I mean, everyone that's there is a woman. And sure enough, we're all laughing because now I've been there, 7-8 months, and it's just becoming where we laugh now. Like, hey, are you approaching the week? Are you approaching the week? And we're all within a week of each other. Really? So, I mean, that's pretty weird to have, 9 women all on the same, within a week of each other. I'm sure we started out all scattered, and then as we spend more time together. And
so what happens? Do you, is there a fulcrum? Is there a point where all the cycles will start on a certain day and each woman, 1 month, 6 months before they reach the same day, all of them, do they each progress by one day each month and eventually they all meet at a certain day?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that must be what's happening to some extent because I'll sometimes be 4 days off in one way or the other. I've been 4 days late. I've been 7 days early. I'm all over the place with my hormones.
Okay.
So that's happening with me. So maybe I'm just meeting more of them where they have already been for a while and they're right on the day.
Isn't that weird?
Or, they're not because they're stressed out or they've been running and exercising and pushing theirs off. So, I mean, whatever's happening, we're all merging. I don't think we're all that'd be insane if we all were on to the day. I don't think so.
But it's all generally within a couple
within
days.
A week, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, out of a whole month, within 1 week to have all these women just have their cycle at the same time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what's funny is when I only had one roommate in my life, and I'm so thankful I'll never do that again, but she and I were not, we didn't agree on anything. We didn't really like each other. It was just 2 people going about their lives.
Right.
I doubt she and we never talked about it, but if we were ever in the same cycle, that would have been amazing because we just weren't connecting. We were 2 strangers coming and going out of a house for a year, and yeah, there's some people you get literally in the flow with and other people you don't,
Wow. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
It makes
strange.
It makes sense, kind of. I mean, it's hard to really wrap your mind around what's really going on with this kind of stuff. But
yeah.
This book I'm reading, The Seed of the Soul, it's actually getting really good by
Gary. That was hard for you to start? Yeah,
it's kind of difficult to read. It's kind of it's one of those books where, how you read a book and you're after, you read half a page or a page and then you're just I don't even know what I just read. Well, I gotta go back because this is just too weird. It's kind of like that. So you have to focus. But he was talking about
who wrote it?
Gary Zukav.
That's right.
Zukav. But he's talking about the morphogenic field kind of a little bit. He didn't really mention, the name, but he was just talking about how he's got a really great chapter on karma. I should. It's really good.
Yeah, bust it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a whole chapter. I think
that's true.
He's got a whole chapter on karma. He talks about everything has a karmic impact. We're watching that interview with Oprah, and she's saying it has an impact if you turn the light on after you leave the room. If you're done with the room and you turn your light off.
If everyone did that.
Yeah, it has an impact. And he was saying in this book, it's kind of the same along those lines, where everything that you put out. So this is the thing I have a hard time with, because he says everything that you put out, every thought has a consciousness, every word has a consciousness, every physical object, this pen has a consciousness. Everything has that, and it's emitting frequencies into this larger consciousness that makes up the whole earth. And he was saying everything you put out needs to be balanced karmically. And so it makes sense. But so if you put out a bunch
Why would you need to balance it out? Why does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense in terms of balancing it out, but I don't even understand why it needs to be balanced. Like
yeah,
why?
It seems like some people go through life all like, I mean, what I'm not seeing, I don't know, but it just seems like nobody's really balanced in anything. But
I know, right?
Okay.
But so the like the fact that he says it needs to be balanced, like I get that, but he was saying that everything you put out affects the larger field. So if you're, driving down the street and you're just cussing at the guy next to you and you're angry, so that angry energy is being emitted into the global bloodstream that makes up the cell of the earth, so that energy gets put out into the world and it's going to be picked up by somebody. And so that needs to be balanced with you. So that's like there's a karma that has to be,
I see,
neutralized. So if you have a really, really great happy thing, that also got to be neutralized. So I don't understand how he understands or knows that. But the thing that I don't get is how do you see the right word for it? How do you make peace or make sense of that idea with also releasing anger or releasing sadness? That's equivalent to like if I don't cry when my mom dies or my dad dies or my son dies,
then you're stuffing it.
But if you release that sadness, then there's a karma there that has to be dealt with. And if you don't want to deal with negative karma, then you shouldn't put out the sadness. But if you put out the sadness, then you got to deal with the karmic sort of ripple of that.
Right.
And so to me, it doesn't make any sense to stuff things. And like, we've talked about this before and I've been doing it and it works.
Dynamic meditation or beating up things?
Yeah, beating up things like a
pillow.
Like a pillow or
a bed,
something like that.
Right.
And Louise Hay talks about that. So how do you make sense of that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if something is really angering to you or gets you really upset and you take a tennis racket to the bed and you just go nuts for 30 seconds, there's some serious therapy going on there. Mm-hmm. There's some serious therapy as long as people don't hear you.
Then there's serious people coming to get you.
Honey, what are our neighbors doing? How come they're so screaming all the time? Why do I hear screams and banging?
They'd come to take you away with the butterfly net. Well, is there a way that you can get that out with keeping that anger or expressed emotion within your energy field? Like, is it possible that it isn't going to ripple out?
Well, I don't even know if any of this is provable, for one thing. Like, how does he know? Does he seen or scientifically tested this stuff? Right. But
I get it. To me, it's like if you're beating up your pillow or your bed with a racket because you're upset and you have to get that out of you, and you feel amazing afterward, and it was all in the confines of your own home, that seems like a really great way to deal with your own energy versus going out into the street and kicking a puppy. I mean, there's going to be negative repercussions that I feel like are very karmically needing to be balanced, but that other one, I just have a hard time believing that that's...
So maybe it's kind of like how vegans and vegetarians are with meat eaters. Like, meat eaters will say, well, the vegans, they're killing stuff just by breathing. There's microbes in the air. When as soon as they breathe, they kill microbes. So you can't get away from killing anything. And the vegan response is, well, the microbes have a lower level intelligence and there's lower, I don't know what word they would use, but killing a microbe is not the same as killing like a dog. Mm-hmm. And so maybe in the sense that you beat your bed instead of beating a dog, maybe there's less consciousness in a bed. If everything does have consciousness in it, maybe there's less karmic impact if you beat a bed. So maybe...
Well, that would make sense. I don't know. That would make way more sense, though, than every little thing you do to make sure you don't bottle bad things up in your body is going to be judged or need to be karmically balanced. I have no idea. I don't even know. You're right. How do you even go about proving something like that?
Yeah, it's all just... It's
interesting.
In real theoretical ideas, and so it's hard to follow sometimes,
Yeah. You can't be at 10:30 at night with low dim lights where you're half asleep already.
Totally.
But you like it.
It's good. Yeah, I'm about halfway through.
Awesome.
It's good. I put it on Instagram. If you guys want to follow what we're reading, we most of the time put stuff on our Instagram of the books that we're reading. Really cool stuff.
I gotta post my Instagram today. I'm reading something different than I usually do. I'm reading a memoir.
Tell me about it.
I'm reading.
You're not reading Anne Frank's fake diary, right?
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a show for a new podcast.
Yeah, right. Gosh.
What is it called?
Wild.
Oh, Wild.
I'm reading that book, Wild. I'm sure most people listening have read it. It was quite a bestseller, but yeah, it's dark and it's hard to read at times. It's encouraging at the same time. It's gut wrenching. It feeds your soul. It's an interesting book. Well written.
What's the basic general idea?
It's about a girl who goes and hikes really long trail. There's that Pacific Crest Trail that spans from Mexico to Canada. And she does different sections of it and chunks and stuff, but she's basically dealing with like the death of her mom and her
her mom just
her
died.
run-in with drugs and wild living and things like that. Her mom had died like 3 years before or something. But
didn't you tell me that she?
I don't want to ruin the book.
She did this one thing that caused this incredible thing to happen.
Yeah, there you go. She
Spoiler
did do that
alert.
one thing
that caused this other huge life change in her life. I don't want to give it too much away.
It's a really good book though. But I'm always reading things like you're reading and very like spiritual
Sort of
books and heady stuff. And this was like, I just want to be entertained. And now I'm really excited about hiking. So it encourages me to get out there more and hike up in the fields, which I've been doing. And
that's what that book Vision is about. Or
The Vision?
Yeah, it's good.
What's his name?
That.
Tom Brown?
Tom Brown, yeah.
Yeah, he's next. Watch out, Tom.
I should reread that.
See, you got to balance out. That's what I tend to do too, is I tend to go from like women authors to male authors to like, I also like to read and balance out things that prove both sides if I can, or not even prove both sides, but shed different light on both sides of things.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's not fair just to read one book and be totally sold on that idea without reading the other side. And if you're really into it, obviously like reading multiple books, or listening to just as much as you can. Like right now we're on a kick about flat Earth.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when we get into something, it's like, I don't know what I think, but the more I find out about it, the more I can make up my mind or not. But
yeah,
I feel like I'm better able to have a conversation about these things and form an opinion, at least, of what I think is going on.
Yeah. What's your next book after this? Do you know?
Which one? I'm going to read a book by Denise Lynn. Native Spirit.
Oh,
Spirit Babies.
Spirit. Denise Lynn.
Oh, Denise Lynn's rad. I like her.
What's her deal? She has a big website, but she's all about the Native Indian stuff, right?
Yeah, very, very. I think I know she was adopted into a tribe. I don't know if it was the Cherokees or. I read Quest. She has a book called Quest, which is just all about going out and doing a solitude retreat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You read
how you prep for that, and yeah. I'll tell you, after reading Wild, though, I'm almost done with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I think, I'm just going to up and, do this crazy hiking trip or do this or that. And you read a book like that and it is really good to get a slap in the face with reality about what that looks like. And she's so cool. Cheryl Strayed, I think is her name.
Who wrote Wild?
She talks all about what she thought it would be like versus what it actually was like. And it's hard life living on a trail,
You know what's cool is if you read Tom Brown's book, it's really cool because The Vision, he's written multiple books, but The Vision's really good. But he talks about like the spiritual aspect of connecting with nature. And he was saying, I read this right before I went on my trip. I read it in like 2001 maybe. But he talks about the spiritual connection that man has with nature. And we've been so far removed from that in our like the way we live. So when we go into nature, it's like we go into it to conquer nature. And we go into it with these umbilical cords strapped to society and the way that we've created it for ourselves called backpacks. And he was saying that like when you get into the Native American idea of connecting with the spiritual aspect of nature, you look at people that are going for like weekend hikes and stuff. You look at them almost as like these strange beings who don't fit at all with what's going on really in nature. Because he was talking about like listening to the sounds and really becoming one with what's going on out there in nature. And it's really cool. Because,
is this a true story?
Yeah. The vision is a true story. Yeah.
So does he go out there with any preparation? Like, does he take food or backpack or anything?
He himself, I don't think he needs to.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Because he's
been
a
doing
survivalist.
it his whole life. Yeah. He learned from a guy he calls grandfather when he was like 10 years old in the, what are the mountains in New Jersey? The Black Hills or something. Anyway, there's this forest in New Jersey that he learned all of his survival skills from. He was this ancient Indian kind of guy. And that's where he learned all his philosophy and spirituality in terms of connecting with nature and stuff. So it's, for a guy like him, he can, sort of do all that himself.
That to me is really significant because I'm reading this book and, she plans it out and has these boxes shipped to different posts along the way. So she'll go 50 miles and there'll be a place where she stops and gets her next box full of stuff and then ditches stuff she doesn't need and then goes another, 100 miles and gets a box. And it's like, those are umbilical cords, but man, who cares? Even to do that.
Even that is awesome.
It's so gnarly. You watch what people go through and how they, the mental games they play with themselves. And it's pretty funny. I went on a hike this morning with my friend Robin.
You're just I gotta ask you, why, like, what's the hiking? Like, where did you get the idea?
It's funny, a couple months ago, remember I just wanted to start hiking with you? And I said, let's just start hiking.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea. Now I'm reading books on hiking. I don't know what it was. I think because maybe, I don't know. But in my mind, every year when we go away on our family vacation up to Lake Tahoe, I've never felt so at peace as when I'm on this one trail with you across the way from where we stay at the cabin.
Right.
And you hike, I mean, the day that I think we've done it once or twice where we go up to this lake and it's probably a good 8-9 miles.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
To get there one way. And something about being on that hike, we had the best conversations I think we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
On that trail, amongst the best conversations we've ever had.
Yeah.
But there's something about that where I thought, my soul craves that kind of, I think the crazier things get around us in this area, the more I have to connect with nature. And to me, that's just not the beach anymore because the beach is so crowded. You're never alone at the beach.
Right.
There's lifeguards driving by. There's people playing volleyball. There's people all over the trails. Like, it's just not, that's not nature to me.
Unless, if someone were to listen to this and they're in Oregon, they can get to a secluded beach.
Oh,
that's
totally
different.
Our beach is like Muscle Beach, there's just like tourists and trains and, even when you get down away from the crowd, you still can't go, 5-minute walk without seeing a bunch of people.
Yeah. And so if you're really strategic about it, if you're like surfing in the winter on a Tuesday afternoon right before sunset, you can find times where there's no one around and it's a beautiful sunset and stuff like that. But still, it's not the same.
No. So for me, I think maybe I'm getting really fed up with not having any nature. So to me, I'm like, how can I bring nature back to me? I think too is when I go on my solitude retreats to Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah, I
hike a lot by myself in the hills, and I'm more determined to bring that retreat life home with me. And so, however I can feel like God speaks to me and I reconnect, the more of that I can do, the better.
Isn't that so true? Because like, if you're listening to this and you are someone who lives near the forest or lives near some places where you can do some hiking, there's just something about going out there by yourself.
There really is.
It's so massive. Like, I think, Jesus did the 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness. The children of Israel did that same thing for years. Right. Every great spiritual teacher throughout history has spent time in solitude, either fasting or being alone in nature. And it's, and I find that, I don't think I've done it once in years because if I do, it's with you. So being completely alone is just so awesome.
Do you want to do that for yourself one of these days?
I do. I used to do it back behind, my parents live
up
behind some hills, and I used to do that by myself there. And I just look back at those times. It's funny because during those times was the same times I was reading all Tom Brown stuff.
There you go.
And so I would go out there all by myself at night and look at the full moon, which is now a hologram, is not real, according to the flat earth people. But
would you really go out there at night?
Yeah, I'd go out
with a flashlight and stuff?
No, I would just go out there and sit on. And thinking about it now is really stupid because the mountain lions.
I never knew this.
Yeah, I go out there at night and just overlook the whole valley,
shimmering ocean on the other side.
Yeah, and
in the
just
valley.
See the moon rising and just hang out.
You would?
Yeah.
I've never known that about
Really?
you.
Yeah, and
I feel like I've heard you mention everything.
Like all those hikes that we do back behind my parents' house now, I used to go through, like I used to go off the trail. And
At night?
Not at night, in the daytime. And I just see where it took me.
Wow.
And I just end up, like 2 miles away somewhere, But I look back at those times thinking, gosh, that was so fun and it was so great. And, something about being alone in nature is so good. Even if it's just you and me just getting out on a trail.
It's so powerful.
You feel like God speaks to you there, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Even when you have friends or people, with you, it's still just, it's powerful, but there's something that happens when you're by yourself. It's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, I think people are going to start doing more of that or needing to do more of that in their life because of all this technology we have. I think they're finding it that they have to get away and kind of backlash from all that stuff.
I hope people are, not everyone's going to want to be a hiker or a camper and some people might just be like the generation below us might just be so drawn to video games that it's going to be a dividing factor. There's going to be those that are just wanting to stay inside all the time and never get out in nature. And then those people that are like, screw this, I'm going to get out in nature. I'm missing something in my life,
Yeah.
It's weird.
So I wanted to say thank you to Cheryl Winter.
Oh my gosh.
For being the latest patron.
Woohoo.
She donated $1 a show.
Right on.
So thank you, Cheryl. I really appreciate that. That is so cool because that'll just come out of your account once a month, $4 a month. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cheryl.
Same thing with our good friend Silly Bird. Jessica donated $5 a show.
Jeez.
My goodness.
Wow.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she might be one of our biggest supporters we've ever had.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jess. It's
Thank
awesome.
You. Yes, and if you're listening to this, we will hang out soon.
Right.
Yeah, we got to come down and see her
Finally
place.
Get down and see your place. And your new pup.
New pup. Oh, does she have a new dog?
Yeah, they got another one.
Really?
Tucker and Cooper.
Oh, goodness. Tucker and Cooper.
Oh, they're cute.
Nick writes in, Justin and Kate are two of the most open-minded. This is by the iTunes review.
Nice.
By the way, if you guys can leave us an iTunes review, that would be so cool. We would really appreciate that. People don't realize that the more reviews that we get, the more our show will show up. So if you leave a rating and a review, that will help us because people will find us in iTunes.
Right.
But Nick says, Justin and Kate are two of the most open-minded people I've ever encountered.
Oh, wow.
They have such a great relationship with each other and their listeners. They make me feel like I'm sitting with them having these conversations. I look forward to every single episode. Their guests have so much knowledge and wisdom. I feel blessed to hear all of this info. If it wasn't for J and K,
nice.
I'd be struggling to find like minds to get inspired by. I love the Free for All Friday shows. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
people are like, you guys ramble, or
yeah,
either they love it or they don't. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know, if people like the Friday shows.
Yeah,
it really makes me feel like I know them personally. They always respond to listener questions, so that helps the community they've created to grow. I'm very interested in health, which leads me to questioning the entire reality we are part of. And I love that aspect of the show where they entertain thoughts that might be a little edgy or maybe a little too woo-woo.
Ain't that
Overall,
the truth?
I give this podcast 100 stars. I think you can only give it 10, right? But we'll take 100.
Right on, Nick.
Thank you, Justin and Kate. You guys have inspired me beyond belief. Much love to both of you.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That might be one of the best ones.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Really appreciate that. And you know what? It's funny because I think a lot of times this happens to me where everyone has a sort of inward journey that they're on, but they don't, like, their friends and family have no idea that they're secretly into, whatever it is, some passion that they have, whether it doesn't have to be conspiracy theory. It could be anything.
It could be like scrapbooking or, it could be anything.
And they could be the best in the world at what they do, but their friends and family don't know because they think they're crazy.
Right.
And so everyone has this little secret inside of them. And so they go on the internet and they try to find podcasts where people are talking about the stuff they're into. And it makes you really feel like you have friends and people that are like-minded, because I don't know where Nick lives. He probably lives somewhere thousands of miles away from us.
Yeah.
But he feels like we're his friends.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Well, that is awesome, because I swear, if we didn't have each other, I have a really good friend that I feel like is the one person I could talk about most of this to, but I don't know if she gets all of it. she's really open to a lot of it, but to actually like
but
have
you would
people,
freak her out.
might freak her out a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
She'd be, yeah. I mean, I think there's things that she'd be like, okay, Kate, you're just way off on that one.
Okay,
like,
Kate.
Yeah, but I know you mean it's awesome we live in that kind of a world right now, though, where we can create our own pods of people that we're friends with. Like,
yeah, digitally, I guess.
It's
but
so cool.
I still think it's important to have people in your life that you can share stuff with. Like if I didn't have you, there's no one in my life physically that I would be able to have the kind of conversations we have. Maybe Jessica, who just donated, but she doesn't live anywhere near me,
right?
Or us, but
yeah,
there's no one really in my life that I could, certain people can accept certain amounts of stuff. And so you give each person just a little bit more than what they're able to handle. And you kind of
test the waters,
kind of let them be stretched a little bit. Kind of like what you did with your mom last year in Tahoe when she mentioned marijuana. Kind of like that.
Oh my gosh, my mom. Yeah.
I
know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool to have the internet because you feel like you're not alone,
Yeah. And it's funny. I mean, I met some girl that listens to our show at Whole Foods last week, and she was so kind. I loved her.
Oh yeah.
And she and I will probably meet up for a juice or a coffee or something. But she turned around in line and said, "I just want to tell you really quick, I love your show." And we start talking. Anyway, it turned into like half-hour conversation.
Wow.
And it was really cool. But I thought, gosh, like these people feel like they know us. They're our friends, and we're friends with them. But it's so funny being friends that I could say I'm friends with these people, but it's so funny because I heard more about her because she already felt like she knew me.
Right.
So I kept asking questions because I'm like, I have no idea who you are, but I feel like we're friends. And like,
she knows you.
I felt like she knew me. So therefore I felt like we were good friends. It's the weirdest thing.
It's really bizarre in that way because you're right. It's a one-sided thing. When we meet people who listen to our show, this happened at Mother's the other day. Someone stopped us. Really cool people. I forgot what their names were. But really cool people. And, people just feel like they know you, but you don't know them at all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
But you still have this weird camaraderie where you're like, yeah, like you feel like you want to, you're like, cool, these people are close to me. Like we've met up with a couple people for juices throughout the years, and made friends with people we would never have met. And
yeah, it's super cool.
Had some awesome conversations.
It's cool. It's a good community.
It is a good community. I love being a part of it.
Kara writes in about veganism.
Okay.
She was a little upset at my comments about veganism.
Oh no.
So she says, I don't want to post this on your page, but in a podcast you said vegans couldn't be the strongest man in the world. As a vegan, and let me say I love you guys, but here is proof that comment was wrong.
It was wrong. I want to know the proof.
And then there's a link to a Patrick, it's a Yahoo News article, Babomian, World's Strongest Vegan.
Okay.
I think you need to retract your comment. Justin, you should know as a previous raw vegan that there is more than enough protein to do it.
I love that you're laughing.
No, it's just interesting. I just find it interesting that that there has to be a right and a wrong with things.
Because what had you said? What was she basing it off of?
I was saying my thoughts were. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that vegans can't be strong. I'm pretty sure because I would never say that because I know vegans who are just yoked. They're huge. But I think that what I was saying was that you're never going to see a vegan win like what's the Arnold
strong man,
the world's strongest man competition, or like a bodybuilder in competition. As far as I know, I don't think a vegan's ever won that. And that's not to say that Kara's saying that there's the world's strongest vegan.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is that like of all the vegans
in that category,
of all the vegans, this guy's the world's strongest, and he's probably ripped and yoked. But if you compare him to a guy that's eating meat, he's not gonna. I don't think that he could compare to a guy eating meat. Now that's not to say compare. Is it healthy? To eat meat? That's a completely different question. But if you're talking about like the ability to pick up weight and be strong, or to be as big and ripped, to being vegan, you're not going to be able to do it as a vegan to the extent that a person who eats meat can. But I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing or a healthy thing or whatever. But those people that do that are typically eating meat.
Yeah.
So it's a different comparison.
Right. That's nice. She loves our show and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's just, it is funny. We've had only, maybe 2 people throughout the years wanting us to retract a comment, when I just don't think that they understood or took it different than we meant it,
Yeah, right?
So, I mean, I agree with you, and I don't know why. I don't know. I guess people are emotional about what their attachments to ideas,
Yeah, right?
I mean, I know we all are. I am too, to some extent, but yeah, I think I agree with that, what you just said.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's like it's comparing the strongest vegan to the strongest meat eater, and it just
seems like an unfair, comparison.
People, yeah.
Right.
Okay, I got an email here from, let's see, Tina. Before we get to that, I want to tell people about the whey protein that we've been using. You guys should really try this out. I know I constantly switch around different whey proteins. I take the raw vegan the raw vegan proteins every now and then, but I always go back to the One World Whey. What I like about it is that it's organic, it's grass fed. And it's raw. And so that's a combination you're not going to really find in most whey protein powders. And the cows come from like an Amish farm, and they love and protect the cows, and they're treated very, very nice. And there's a lot of just great ethics going on with Stephen Huer and his company Synergistic Nutrition. The whey protein, I think it's got around 20 grams of protein per scoop, and it tastes amazing. They have different flavors. I like the vanilla because it's pretty versatile. You can put it in chocolate smoothies or fruit smoothies, and it just tastes amazing. And it's bioactive, so that your body absorbs the protein. It's really great stuff. It helps to boost glutathione levels, and it just makes you feel great. I like to do it after workouts constantly. Whenever I get done working out, I use that. And also, before we get back to what we're talking about, I want to talk about or let you guys know about the Qigong program. Qigong is a great way to balance the energies of the body. And living in the modern culture and modern society, it can be very stressful depending on where you're living and what you're doing. But most people are just stressed out of their mind. Most people are so, oh my gosh, they're just running to and fro. They're trying to run here and run there and drop the kids off and get to work and take the phone calls and run errands and be back. And Qigong is a really, really great way to use. It's like a moving meditation. And I've been doing a lot of meditation lately. But there's something about doing a moving meditation where it forces you almost to use your breath and to ground into the earth and to create a way that you're not going to leak and lose your energy to other people's dramas and other people's stories and other people's issues that they have going on. They try to hook your attention with these things. And Qigong is a really great way to bring that moving meditation and to grounding energy into your body. And it's cool because they have a 10-minute session that I do in the morning and a 10-minute session before evening. And the morning one helps to sort of wake up your chi and balance your body and bring more energy into your body so that you have energy to start the day. And then the other one before bed is cool because it sort of grounds you out and it makes you very calm, and you can go right back to sleep. And I'm telling you guys, all health, all of the stuff that we talk about has a spiritual, soul, emotional connection. And this is where the real disease lives. It lives in our souls. It lives in our spirit. It lives in our emotions. It's trapped energies and these types of things. And Qigong is the best. Qigong is an awesome way. I do it with other things as well. Like I work out hard, and I get. I feel like it's like static electricity kind of energy, but Qigong is just. It's awesome. I'm telling you guys, you should really try this out. If you go to our show page here, extremehealthradio.com/425, you'll be able to see a link to it. So anyway, that's it. I just want to tell you about those two things. Tina says, thanks, Justin. I had breast cancer. I unfortunately did not, by the way, real quick, if anyone you know has breast cancer? We did a show with Tamara St. John on her journey with breast cancer successfully. What episode was that? 75 or
oh gosh,
70, something like that. We'll put a link to the show notes.
That was before. Before I was on?
Were you on that one?
Golly, that seems like a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe. I mean, a long time ago in internet and like doing this show and stuff like that is like 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
But she says, thanks, Justin. I had breast cancer. I unfortunately did not know enough about alternative medicine to make that choice. I'm not sure what the choice is that maybe I referenced something.
Okay.
But I attended a 5-day retreat and after my first chemo, and there I picked up a book by Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief.
Yay.
Great book. And we had Bruce on the show if you want to hear that too. It's funny, while at the Petria King retreat, Petrea King.
Petria?
While at the Petria King retreat, I saw a counselor for one session where I began to ramble. No idea what I said, but by the end, I knew with absolute certainty that the answer to why I got that cancer and how to fix it lie within myself. I did not understand that realization fully, but I knew it was true. And for the first, but I knew it was so true that the fist of fear that had sat in my belly since the diagnosis completely disappeared. Wow. My first conversation with my body. Then, as I read The Biology of Belief, I began to fully understand I was the one writing the story, not the doctors or the cancer. It was me. That was just the beginning. Cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me. As a consequence, I am doing great. Thanks, Justin. Still learning the lessons cancer came to teach, and I still get excited by the new women that is emerging after having the old one stripped bare and remodeled.
Oh, wow.
What a journey. Keep on teaching, inspiring, and enabling, Tina. Wow.
Holy mackerel, that's a good email.
That's a good email.
That's an encouraging email.
You know what I like about that is that Tina, she says, I'm still learning the lessons cancer came to teach. And I still get excited by the new woman that is emerging after the... So it's cool that, like I've told you this before, like how Dr. Massey talks about cancer, like cancer as a family member. It's there to teach you, and you don't want to ostracize it by cutting it out. Because it needs to be included into the system, into the family story, which is your life.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a whole.
Yeah, and so she's...
well put. I mean, that's a really powerful line right there.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah, breast cancer. Wow, that's... Go ahead.
It's funny, I've been driving around the last week going, I really got to read The Biology of Belief. I got to read The Biology of Belief. Mm-hmm. And then to hear that again, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's going to push me into reading that because I feel like with my own health journey and struggles, it's really important. Mm-hmm. I love Bruce Lipton. I love his work. We've watched a lot of stuff on him, but I haven't read that book yet. So
yeah,
thank you for I want to thank her for teaching me and reminding me that I need to read that still.
Yeah. I don't know who Petria King is, but I like how she says she has no idea what she said, but she absolutely knew certainty that the answer as to why she got cancer, how to fix it, lies within myself. So that's really cool.
I'm looking up TREAT. I'm looking up her quest for, let me see, Sedona Petria King Retreats. Is that what it is?
Yeah, is that a person?
Let me see here. 1 second. There's so many things that came up. Petria King, founder and CEO of Quest for Life Foundation.
Huh.
Looks like Australia, I think. Helping you find inner peace, how to live and stay well. And then, wow, this looks great. They have workshops and retreats.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they worldwide or just in Australia?
Let me see. Let's look about the founder here.
Isn't that funny how there's so much stuff in the world? There's so many people doing great things. And, you know, I've never even heard of Petria King.
Yeah, and I'm sure people know about her everywhere.
Yeah.
Petria King, ND, DRM, BDMB.
CB
DIP CIHYP.
CYL.
No, this is all what she is.
Wow.
I'll turn off all the words though and read A B C D. Petria King is CEO of the Quest for Life Foundation, which she established in 1989. She is a well-known author, inspirational keynote speaker, teacher, and facilitator. She's also qualified as a naturopath, herbalist, clinical hypnotherapist, yoga, and meditation teacher. In 1983, Petria was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia and was not expected to live. Meditation and integration of post-traumatic experiences, including the recent suicide of her brother Brendan, became paramount in her recovery, much of which was spent in a monastery near Assisi in Italy. She has been meditating since the age of 17.
Wow.
And it talks about more than 100,000 people have attended residential programs or counseling with her and her team since 1985. She also lectures and conducts workshops around Australia and internationally.
Wow.
Wow. She's written best-selling books. Wow. She's done a lot. I'm so glad that she wrote and told us about her.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because I never heard of her, and now doing the show, thousands of people that listen to this show are going to be able to find out who that is, too.
Mm-hmm.
The world is a small world, isn't it? It's
a small world after all.
Yeah.
But not so small in some ways.
Yeah, questforlife.com.au.
That's beautiful. Awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking all about these rituals and...
So you've been doing more meditation lately, huh?
I have been.
Have you been enjoying it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes not so much?
Other times you just show up and you're like, that seemed pointless, but I know that's how meditation goes. But yeah, there's times when I have like full, like what seems to be like an illumination of something, and then other times where I'm like... either can't turn off the brain, which I know is everyone's big thing, or I'm just bored. But I'll sit there. Sometimes I try to do no shorter than 10 minutes. Yeah. And sometimes it flies by and it'll be like a half hour.
Yeah. I've been doing it too lately. You know what I found? Doing it I've been doing it outside, like out on the patio. Mm-hmm. And even with all the cars going by and the noise, it's strangely like it makes me more focused on breathing and getting a better meditation. My mind wanders less with that background noise.
Really?
Yeah, because you would think, meditation, you want to be completely silent. But for some reason, I think there's something weird psychologically. When I do it in here, like if I were to do it now in here, it's midday, and there's just a ton of, like as we're doing the show, you probably can't hear, but there's just really loud trucks going by. And so if I were to do it in here right now, there's something about being in this room. I think my subconscious expectation is that because we're inside, it should be more silent. Mm-hmm. But when I'm outside, I realize I'm going to hear everything, and it's just somehow okay.
Yeah, you're mentally prepared for that, and it's almost more acceptable.
It becomes like it blends in almost like birds in the background. Like all of a sudden you realize that, oh my gosh, there's birds chirping. I didn't even hear that.
Oh, interesting.
And... but I know what you mean. Meditation sometimes is so bizarre because you show up and you just sit there for 15 minutes, and sometimes, nothing substantial happens, and you're just bored out of your mind, and you think it was just a waste of time. But something is going on.
Yeah.
But what is it?
I don't know. It's something enough. Something's going on enough to draw me back to it, because things I don't like, I just won't be part of. But I must like it even on the times I'm bored, because I see power in it. I see something worthwhile. How
often, if you were to do it 10 times, how often do you have that bored, just completely like boredom?
Probably like 3.
Yeah, that's about what I get too.
Mm-hmm. And you never know when it's going to be. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to get into the zone. Mm-hmm. And you just can't.
But for me, I don't get any sort of like insight like I do in the float tank. To me, do you get insight? Do you get like...
I've had it a few times, and it's very strange.
Really?
Because it's so few and far between. But when I do, it's either visions or...
just ideas that come in out of nowhere?
Yeah, almost like a dream state. I don't know if I've been able to solve any problems or have insight and illumination on anything in particular that I go, like set the intention to go into to get an answer. And those are always kind of disappointing to me, but those are obviously not meant to come in those forms, and I'll find the answers other ways. But I've had bizarre experiences as far as visions that are given to me, or
really,
I think an astral travel type thing.
What's that?
An astral travel type projection. I didn't even know that's what I was doing last 4th of July. Yeah, last 4th of July, I was sitting on the biomat, which is the best way to meditate, by the way. The biomat just takes it to another level.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's got to be those crystals, right?
Yeah.
If for nothing else, something magical happens on that thing where
Yeah, you're just sitting on 30 pounds of crystals.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there all warm, and there's fireworks everywhere. I thought, I'm so over this. I'm just going to shut myself up and put some, air conditioning on. No, just like a white noise.
Okay.
No music. And I remember sitting against the wall and just feeling like the world was really big and I was just like a little speck. And so in my mind, I kind of shot up through my body, through the roof, was viewing our house from like above it in my mind. Like I saw the roof in the dark. I was seeing all the fireworks go off, and then I just like shot up into space. I've only had this once in my life. This was weird.
Is this the only time it's happened?
Yeah. And then I was viewing the earth.
Were you trying to do this?
I think I was viewing it as a globe, but maybe that's only because I knew it was a globe.
You weren't taught the real truth.
I wasn't taught the real truth. And then I remember being like, that was really cool. I remember being up there in my head going, okay, it's like a movie. I'm going to come back down and watch this. So I'm like going through the space, and then you get closer to the earth, and then you view the city lights, and you get closer, then you see your house, and then you're back in your body. And
were you trying to do this?
No. I just remember thinking something about being really small, and I just felt like there was so much going on around me. I just thought, wow, like I wonder what this would look like from a broad perspective, from a different perspective. And my mind just kind of went there. It was probably only like a 2-minute thing. And then later, like months later, you and I were watching some stuff online about astral projection.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, excuse me.
Spirit science.
Yeah. And I thought that's what I just did without even knowing it. So that was strange. Like there's something that happens in your dream state or in your meditation state that it'll find you. Like even if you have never heard of astral projection, that's where I think that there's things that are innate in the human spirit and soul. If you get quiet enough, it will find you. Same way how I feel about God. Mm-hmm. Like if you're some Indian tribe 5,000 years ago and there's no missionaries to come give you Bibles or tell you about God.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like
there's no white man
God's going to find you, like you're going to find God. If it's part of your innate nature to be one with these things or to be conscious of them, it will come to you in whatever form it has to. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That's interesting. Do you find that, because they say, how they say meditation is more like working out in the gym. Like you don't get the benefits of meditation during meditation. Well, some people say that, but obviously in your case, in this case, you had it. But do you find that meditation has helped you outside of your life?
Well, I'm not sure yet because it hasn't been, I've dabbled in it, but I think it's only been about 2 weeks now where I'm committed to it. So I don't know.
I find it has helped me a lot. It helps me to stay more centered and balanced and compassionate, Yeah. But when I don't do it, I could definitely see that those things go away.
You're bashing pillows and
I'm in there,
beating up the bed, screaming.
Yeah. Just beating our bed. Meditation is really a cool thing.
Well, I think it's necessary at this point for me to add in because I did get my results back of my hair test.
Oh, yeah, we should. Yeah, we told people we're going to read that.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Because it's quite interesting.
By the way, we should get, what's his name on? He's only down in Carlsbad on the show.
Who?
What's the meditation guy? David G.
Oh, David G. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll put his name down.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
David G.
So let me bring this up here. Yeah, I have quite a bit of work to do on my health.
Well, we all do.
Yeah. I'm feeling a heck of a lot better. So I think sometimes you get a little bit sidetracked, thinking you're certain. It doesn't matter. However you feel is your reality. And I've been feeling a lot better, But one thing I want to say too, just remember this, that in the same way a blood test is just a snapshot in time, in the same way that's true, it's also true that something Dr. Massey was saying once really hit home with me. He was saying that imbalances and diseases and things like that are all like the root cause of them is something that's invisible. And so when you get your blood test and it says, or your hair mineral analysis to say your potassium and your copper is out of balance and stuff like that, these are all just sort of physical representations of something that's going on a deeper level that's not even physical. No, yeah, you're right.
So it's and also them saying that something's out of balance is just a way of putting something into perspective that correlates with some other thing that could be the disease. You know what I mean? So like heart attacks, like, okay, well, doctors will say your cholesterol is high, and so they correlate high cholesterol with disease, but you have to prove that correlation, and then you have to disprove people that have high cholesterol and never have heart attacks. So there's a lot of, so even though some of the things that they say in here may be out of balance, it's still just, it's
an invitation to...
It's just an offer. It's just an idea. So just remember that,
Yeah, because, it's easy to kind of go there and be like, oh my gosh. Like, I when I saw it, I was like, crap.
Because with 7 billion people on the planet, and if everyone had levels like this, like not everyone would have the same symptoms.
No, you're right.
So,
I'm having a hard time finding my email.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was just really... I thought it was really cool what Dr. Massey was saying, is that all of these things are physical representations of things that might or might not correlate with an actual event like a heart attack.
No, it's true.
And so we can only measure...
It's the first time I'd ever heard that. That was weird.
Yeah, we can't measure the physical process or the invisible process. We have no machines as humans yet to be able to do that. So we can only measure cholesterol levels, and people with high cholesterol are, most people with heart attacks have high cholesterol, and so you have to make this assumption that
like a broad
it's causing it. Yeah.
Right.
So there's a much deeper thing. So someone could have, it's sort of like the, did you find it yet?
No, I'm finding it
it's
right
sort of
now.
like the John Sarno work, where writing letters to your subconscious mind, where he talks about people with lower back pain have like this bulging disc. They have all this pain in their lower back. And he's done studies with his patients where he'll have them write specific letters to their subconscious mind, and then he'll do another x-ray. And the bulging disc is sometimes worse. It's more pronounced, but they have no pain.
It's the craziest thing.
And so it's the same thing going on with this kind of stuff. You could have all this stuff and live to your 120.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it's like if you don't know, because I've been feeling so good with my energy level that I've been hiking, and then I read this and I was like, I shouldn't be hiking. I have no adrenal.
Yeah, no.
But
dude,
no,
it.
I'm just going to focus on what it is that I feel to be true and try better. I have to say, going into this hair test too, I completely fell off the wagon. Like completely. After following it to a T for months, I just had life happen and getting a job and all these things.
We'll tell people too how strict you had been, and because I think it's important for people to know why you fell off a little bit.
Yeah, I'd been so strict for months and months and months, and doing the right supplementation and, spending a lot of money we didn't really have on supplements, and just trying to get better, which was a stress in itself. But because of the sulfur issues I'm still having, and I'm not sure if that's just a body imbalance or that also might be a little bit of genetic weakness going on, or a flipped, what do you call that?
A double mutated gene.
Double mutated gene. There's things I still don't know, but it's caused me to still not be able to add sulfur foods for the most part back into my diet, except chocolate, which is really bizarre because chocolate's high sulfur, high copper, and yet I just crave it and crave it and crave it. And I'm sure it's probably not a good thing for me, but it's something that I seem to be able to thrive on at the moment. So I've been doing. Basically, I was so limited with like 10 foods.
You could own less than that.
Probably like 8 for a while there.
Yeah, you couldn't eat anything.
Without reacting to everything. So I did it and started feeling a bit better through the program I'm going through at Moses Nutrition with Nikki, and she's amazing. And I think it gave me a little bit of like I gave myself false permission to kind of fall off the wagon and start eating more because I could.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm not completely healed by any means. And so I started adding way too much sugar back, even natural sugars back in my diet.
You should say that you are healed.
I should say that. You're right. You're right. I probably
But I know what you mean when you say
know what
that.
I mean. But yeah. So here's my report summary.
Okay.
So my last hair test was last June. And you're supposed to do it every 3 months, and I didn't have the money, so I was only able to do it in February. So it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So I would have loved to retest after the first 3 months. It probably would have been a whole bunch of different results. But here's what I have since I added back in my sugar binging.
It's pretty. Some things are
good, and some things could use a little help.
Yeah.
So it says my oxidation rate has slowed down. I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
Okay.
And I have a meeting with her today, by the way, that I can't wait to hear her opinion on this, because half of it we don't understand because we don't spend our time and days reading hair mineral analysis.
Right.
Your hair tissue mineral analysis indicates your body is presently in the resistance stage of stress. Your previous hair mineral analysis indicated your body was in the resistant stage of stress. So that hasn't changed. Your hair tissue mineral analysis indicates a pattern of diminished cellular adrenal glandular activity, which is cool because I saw in some of the recommendations is to add in an adrenal, what do you call that?
Desiccated thyroid?
Yeah,
desiccated.
Which is really good for me. That'll help with everything. Your hair tissue mineral analysis indicates a cellular thyroid effect that is outside the optimal range. Your previously high sodium-potassium ratio remains high, indicating an acute stress and or an inflammatory process at this time. You are still exhibiting an adrenal insufficiency as indicated by your low sodium and potassium levels. Your tissue calcium/magnesium ratio is now above optimal limits, indicating an imbalance in glucose sugar metabolism.
Okay.
Which I'm not surprised at. Your tissue mineral analysis indicates impaired protein synthesis at this time, as indicated by your low phosphorus level. Let's see. Hair tissue mineral analysis indicates impaired digestion due in part to your low phosphorus level, which is interesting. It indicates my body is predominantly in a parasympathetic state. Suggests adequate immune system activity. That's good. It indicates a trend for kidney and liver stress. That's fun. Your hair tissue mineral analysis currently indicates the presence of an inflammatory tendency due in part to your either elevated sodium-potassium ratio or low potassium level. It says that the analysis indicates significantly decreased cell permeability. Elevated calcium level has increased. Mm-hmm. And then here's the last 10. Although your magnesium level has favorably decreased, your magnesium level remains above an optimal range.
Wait, you said magnesium twice. Although your magnesium level has decreased, it's above optimal range?
Uh-huh. Although your magnesium level has favorably decreased, your magnesium level remains above an optimal range.
Oh.
So it's still like within above the optimal, but it's decreased from where it was really high, I guess. Above the optimal.
That makes sense.
Your previously low sodium level remains the same. Your low potassium level remains the same. Iron level is currently below an optimal range. Hair copper level is within optimal range. Previous manganese level, which was in optimal range, has decreased and is now low. My zinc level remains at an optimal range. My chromium level remains low. My selenium level remains low. Previously low phosphorus level has decreased, and it says your retest still indicates a presence of aluminum in the tissues.
Okay. So does it say anything about mercury? It doesn't.
Nope. But I have this other little thing that, let's see, there's another chart. Gosh, they send me so much stuff. Hold on here. There's a chart that they sent me that shows the metals. Let me just bring that one up. This one's interesting. Dun, 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 dun.
By the way, parasympathetic means of or relating to the part of the automatic nervous system that counterbalances the action of the sympathetic nerves. It consists of nerves arising from the brain and the lower end of the spinal cord and supplying the internal organs, blood vessels, and glands. Parasympathetic nervous system.
So that's what's I'm in a parasympathetic state. What does that mean, I wonder?
Yeah, I don't know what it means to be in that state because it seems like that would be something that would be just going on all the time.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. We'll ask her. So it looks like in the toxic metals here.
What do you got?
Lead, it says on my chart, I'm dumping more.
Okay.
I was at, when I first tested, 0.011, and now I'm at 0.015, so I'm dumping.
Good.
Mercury was at 0.026, and I'm at 0.010, so it's really dropping. It says much better on my chart.
Oh,
so
good.
there was a little, but nothing, I don't think, in her opinion, worth chelating.
Maybe you're just so sensitive that maybe one little atom or two atoms of mercury, if you have in your body, would be fine in my body, but but if that same amount's in your body, you're just so sensitive that you feel stuff.
I really am. I feel everything.
So maybe the reason why you feel better is just because it could be just that.
It's organ awareness.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're super sensitive.
I'm not registering. I'm registering the same on cadmium which is 0.002. It shows nothing. Arsenic, it was 0.021. Now it's 0.018. So it's gone down.
Wow, it's gone down a lot.
Aluminum was 1.09 and it's 1.13. So I'm dumping more aluminum. Aluminum is the one that's really high compared to the rest. My sugars have increased from 7.59 as a previous ratio to 11.80.
Oh my, those miracle tarts.
Oh, those miracle tarts. Damn them.
Right.
Darn, those miracle tarts.
They're just not good.
Thyroid has gone up, it's changed in numbers. Same with adrenal and same with my overall vitality is the same.
Is it?
Which it says percentage of ideal. It says 180 is a percentage of ideal. I don't know what my previous ratio was 4.50 and my current ratio is 4.50. That doesn't seem good, but I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, she'll go over all those numbers with us.
Cool. Crazy, huh?
Did you, there's a video that we shared on our Facebook that was cool. It was about this family that has never eaten organic food. Never.
Okay.
And they decided, I don't know who it was, but so this whole family of 5 decided to only eat organic food. Now, granted, much of it was, cooked and, whatever. But they did, I think blood samples and urine samples before and after. So they went on completely organic overnight. They ate all the same stuff, but it was just all organic. And they did their...
only fruits and vegetables or organic anything, like chicken?
Yeah, okay. Organic, just whatever.
Just total organic diet.
Yeah, which is cool. It's good news because some, people are doing cleaner diets, like a vegan diet would be a cleaner diet. But they did the testing before, and then they did the testing. I think they went on an organic diet like for 30 days or something. And then they retested their entire family, and all of them, their metals and their toxicity and their what are all the different toxic metals? Like they listed all of them, and they all went down.
Just from organic.
Eating, and it wasn't even good. It was like...
So that means that that's a video going around YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. We shared it on our Facebook thing.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched it, but gosh, you'd think that...
Isn't that crazy? Just from eating organic.
That's surprising, though, because a lot of our guests lately have surmised that organic isn't really that different because the soils are so
Yeah, Pantelaresco says that.
Pantelaresco.
Yeah, he says that...
But obviously something, whether they're believing it, the power of belief, or it's actually doing... I don't know. I still don't feel right about buying non-organic food. No,
I think what people are saying is organic is a far cry from what crops should be. And I get that because you're getting, whether or not you believe in chemtrails, you're still getting tire dust. You're still getting exhaust. If you live near an airport, you're getting hundreds of pounds of jet fuel, exhaust. You're breathing this stuff. If you live by a freeway, you're breathing in tire dust, so all this stuff, whether, and maybe chemtrails, if those are really filled with aluminum or whatever, either way, you're getting stuff falling on your food, even if it's organic, and then you're watering it with most likely municipal tap water that contains, chlorine, chloramine, all kinds of stuff in the water.
Chloride.
Yeah, so you're getting all kinds of bad stuff.
Chloride? Fluoride.
Yeah.
That sounded weird. Okay.
And so organic food is a far cry from but still, even with that, and they didn't even do a cleanse. They didn't even the greatest food.
Right. So it shows.
It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That just doing nothing but eating organic. It's the same stuff. Like if they made organic Cheerios,
right,
which they don't make, but if they made those and you just did stuff like that would be a huge.
I have to say though, it's pretty impressive what's out there now. Whether at Trader Joe's or whether at a Whole Foods, you go down the cereal aisle, they have tons of organic options. I mean,
yeah, you
might pay $1 more for a box of cereal, but they're already so dang expensive anyway. Why not try? Why not choose the organic if you have that option? You can still have your Cheerios.
What do you think about? What do you if someone says, "Kate, I'd love to do organic. It's not in the budget."
I'd punch them in the face. I'm just kidding. That's loving, right? I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
What do you say to that? Kate, I'd love to do organic. You're just so. It's just. You guys do organic.
I guess I would say, let's try to talk about, I wouldn't try to, there'd be no judgment. If they wanted my opinion and they came to me asking that, I'd say, what can we look at that you could cut out in other ways? Like, is there anything you spend useless money on, like magazines or, you know, first of all, what do you really value? If you really want to do this, there's got to be a way to do it. You know, join a co-op. Let's find the cheapest option. And if you can't, honestly, Thrive Market.
Buy on Thrive Market.
Right. And if you can't, it's kind of like, well, then let's start by, you know, at least going and getting fresher foods or, praying over your food and being grateful for it, changing it in your mind, even if you don't have any money. Or I feel like it's almost like just the gratitude that you can infuse into your food. I don't know.
And eating slower.
Yeah.
You're working on that.
Oh my gosh. I inhale my food. I really
You're getting better at it.
I'm trying.
But I know what you mean. You know, people, it's just putting intention and saying like, okay, if I could only afford like 3 apples, like let's say someone does a juice every day of the week, and they could only afford 3 organic apples, but they can afford 7 non-organic apples. Then it's like, all right,
math problem.
Yeah, just cut the apples in half.
Yeah,
and juice half an apple, and make each apple last 2 juices for 2 days. Stuff like that.
No, it's little tricks, little hacks.
Little hacks. Yeah,
I'm with you.
Because a lot of people say that.
It's hard,
and a lot of people say that they can't afford. And one of the things I saw a meme recently that was like in the early 1900s, I think it was like 70% or 60% of people's money that they earn went to their food. And now
I've seen that before.
Now it's less than 10% because it's just so cheap. It's subsidized by the government, and it's just, you know, costs nothing for, you know, a bag of Fritos or something. Yeah. Funny, I was going to say Cheetos.
Oh, well, hey, we're somewhat tracking.
You know? And so it's just become like, you know, all of our money goes on to food. Pretty much.
Yeah. And
our business expenses, that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't shop for clothes. We don't do excessive home decorating. We don't really even go on vacation much. It's just food. We value food too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if there's a will, there's a way. If you really badly want to eat that clean, I don't know.
Learn to fast.
Yeah.
You know, eat less. Spread your meals out more. Learn how to save them. Buy some like, what do they call those? The food saver things, you know? We'll put a link to that. Food saver. You can store your food and suck the oxygen out. You can make it last longer. You know, if you, like you said, if you really want to do it, you can do it. Yeah. And then figure out ways to, on the other side of the coin, earn more.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, this might be way out there in saying this, but I think, you know, if you were literally dirt poor and had no money to spend on food, yet you knew that your body would do so much better eating well, it seems like if you camped outside of a Whole Foods or a local market and basically asked people if they could help you buy groceries, I really don't know that many people that wouldn't help you, you know? Because every time we go into our mother's market, there's people out there with signs, you know, need money, need work. But no one's ever putting out a thing that says, I need a bag of organic oranges. If I saw somebody with a sign like that, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'll buy them a bag of organic oranges. That's what they want is oranges? Great. What else do they need? And then maybe I'm just proposing ideas to get creative because people are always handing money to people off the freeway. If you're that desperate, I mean, I cannot imagine someone denying you help.
Oh, yeah.
With food.
Oh, yeah.
With food that you want. And then there might be people complaining about you going, oh, if you're that picky, you know, you don't have any money, why do you want organics? I think the people that are shopping in those places should understand that not everyone has as much money as we all are able to spend on food.
Right.
I don't know. I think there's got to be a system that can provide assistance for people.
We need to start a nonprofit where we talked about before planting trees.
Oh, yeah.
Around because
make
there should
free
be
food and free vegetables
up and down the streets of free.
No one would go hungry.
Apples and oranges and that'd be cool.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Every city should be lined with trees that produce fruit for not just for the homeless people but for everybody. Yeah. I mean, it's like we've got the ability to grow trees for crying out loud that have fruit on them.
Yeah. Why are we
food?
Right.
No one should ever go hungry. Especially not in a place like this in America or even any other developed country where produce can grow, you know, like it just blows my mind. It's just, you know, we got to get to the point where we're not just planting trees that serve no purpose.
Yeah, what a waste.
It's ridiculous. There's people out there that need food. There's people out there that can't afford food. The city should be providing this stuff where, everyone should have fruit trees in their front yard.
Everyone should talk to the city about how we spend our money, about how we spend the city's money. If people started caring less about potholes in the road and more about having fruit tree lined streets.
Yeah.
But I don't think they even, cities are aware of a little bit, but until the people get together and decide that's where they want their tax money spent,
Yeah, I know that would be ideal.
There's a lot of work to be done. I'm glad people are doing a bunch of different things. Like, we might not be involved in that kind of a thing yet, but some people are. So I'm just really grateful people are out there doing things, making a difference.
I agree. I think is that about it?
I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I want to let everyone know too, in case you haven't seen our announcement or seen or listened to the last Free for All Friday show that we did, we are starting a brand new, sort of a whole new thing with Extreme Health Radio. So we hinted at it earlier. We do have a studio outside the home, so we're going to be able to do video podcasts there with in-studio guests. So that's going to be really cool. And I'm also starting a separate podcast myself where we're going to talk about all kinds of weird stuff. Cool stuff.
I look forward to your weirdness.
Yeah, so that's going to be really cool. So we're going to be talking about like religion, spirituality, history, economics, where money comes from, the schooling and education system, stuff you're not being taught anywhere. So we're going to be tackling a lot of those issues on my podcast. And that's going to be a video-based podcast too, with mostly in-studio guests. And I'm also working on a membership website with a couple prominent doctors where we're going to be allowing people to have access to a membership website and dive much deeper into the different protocols and different strategies for improving your health with two doctors. So that's going to be available pretty soon too. And you're going to be doing a podcast as well.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to be really cool.
Talking to people about stuff I want to talk about.
I know, right?
People that are like-minded and value the same kind of talks, because I have such awesome talks with friends in my life that are deep and worthy of being recorded.
Deep and weird?
Deep and worthy of being recorded.
Right.
Not weird. Well, there are some weird ones, but just to be able to, again, have a space for people to know they're not alone in their sharing and their thoughts, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and so in order to do all this, we had to shell out a ton of money. For us, it's a lot, thousands of dollars to rent a new studio, for the insurance on the studio, for the high-speed internet access, for a brand new custom-made production PC that's going to allow us to do all this and stream, as well as cameras and studio like stuff in the background that we're going to hang on the walls, and decorating, and all kinds of stuff, and the software that allows us to switch so we don't have to pay a producer to do it for us. So we really shelled out a ton of money to serve you guys in this new way. So if you would like to support our work, we'd greatly appreciate it. You can do that on a per podcast basis on Patreon. It also works on PayPal too. So if you want to join in our mission, it would be awesome. We really appreciate it. We could really use your help because we're just taking a risk, and I just feel called that this is something we have to do. And so if you would like to support us, we would be so appreciative. If you have a Facebook account, and I think 1 out of every 6 people have a Facebook account. Is
that true? In the world?
In the world.
Wow.
It takes about 60 seconds, 90 seconds, a minute or so to donate. And like I said before, a couple people did that today. And that's where we could really use your help, because if you could donate, $5 a month, $2 a month, $10 a month, whatever it is, that would be super helpful. And we really, really could use your help. Another way to support us too is bookmarking our Amazon link. Every time you make a purchase on Amazon, if you can go through our link, you can bookmark it. You can click on our website on our homepage. You'll see a link on the right-hand side to Amazon. If you click on that and then bookmark that link, that will support us. And if you use that bookmark every time you make a purchase, just think of us every time you go to your Amazon account, and every purchase you make will help support our show. And that's a great way to support us If all of you guys did that, that would just be huge.
That helps big time.
Yeah. A lot of people, even our friends and family, forget to buy through our link, and we tell them, please remember to go through us. So that helps.
We would skywrite it if we could.
I know, right? That would be amazing. So yeah, that's, and then also thanks for sharing our shows on Facebook. We appreciate that. That helps a lot. That's about it, right?
I think so.
That a wrap?
Took care of business. That's a wrap.
Took care of business. All right, everyone. This was episode 424. So if you want the show notes.
425.
Oh, 425?
Yes, sir.
My mistake.
424 wasn't a bad one either. That was Mr. Rick Simpson.
Yeah, that's true. That's going to be coming on the site soon.
Yep.
So if you want the show notes of all the stuff we talked about, I'll be making links of everything we talked about at extremehealthradio.com/425 if you want to grab the show notes for that. And we'll catch you guys. Is that it on the next episode?
Yep, that's it.
All right,
bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That was so good.
Oh my gosh.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition.